There comes a time when you stop asking the world for permission to rise. A moment when you realize that wealth is not a matter of luck or age or background. It's a matter of philosophy. It's a matter of alignment, a decision to stop surviving and start planting. Because money, real money, the kind that moves through your life like a current of destiny, it responds to laws. It obeys structure. And those who understand these laws, who align with them, not just in behavior, but in being, will always find a way to rise. At any age. Let's clear the fog. Wealth is not some golden fruit handed down by chance. Wealth is a cropand. Your mind is the soil. The seeds are invisible at first. Thoughts, habits, words, beliefs. But what you plant, you harvest. And what you neglect, you lose. So rule number 1, understand this deeply. Money is a mirror. It reflects the way you think. It reflects how you value time. It reflects your attitude toward effort, risk, and return. If your wallet is empty, the first place to look is not the economy, your job, or your past, it's the mirror. Your money is not the problem. Your philosophy is. See, poor people spend money to feel rich. Rich people invest money to stay rich. One buys escape, the other buys freedom. And you have to choose every day which one you're truly after. Because the world is full of people chasing shiny things, never realizing that the shine is in them, not in the thing. And that brings us to rule number 2. Never outspend your self-respect. What does that mean? It means stop buying things to impress people who aren't even paying attention. Stop trading dignity for dopamine. You can't build wealth if you're draining your future to decorate your insecurity. A 500 outfit on a 5 mindset is not fashion. It's financial suicide. Get honest, get lean, get dangerous in your discipline. There is power in restraint, real power. Because every dollar you don't spend is a soldier you keep on the battlefield. Stack enough of them, and they begin to win wars for you silently, steadily. Wealth isn't loud. It whispers in compound interest. It moves in quiet sacrifices that multiply behind the scenes. And here's the truth. Money loves clarity. That's rule number 3. If your goals are vague, your results will be too. The universe responds to precision. It doesn't reward people who kind of want to be rich. It rewards those who carve it into their vision with a blade. What does rich mean to you? Not in theory and numbers. How much do you need, by when, and for what? Vague desires create vague realities. But clarity? Clarity is a magnet. It pulls opportunity out of the chaos and into your path. So stop saying, I want more money. Say, I will have 500 in liquid assets by age 35 to buy freedom, time, and legacy. Say it until it echoes in your actions. Until every decision bows to that intention. Until you start walking like someone who knows exactly where they're going. And now we enter rule number 4, money follows mastery. Skills make the man. Not birthright. Not privilege. Not luck. Skills. Learn to solve real problems, and the market will chase you. Mastery is magnetic. The world does not pay you for your hours, it pays you for your value. Increase your value, and time bends to your income. So the question is not, how can I make more money? The question is, how can I become so good, so undeniable, that money has no choice but to find me? Study, practice, fail, refine, elevate, do it again and again. Because you are either becoming an asset or a liability, either building your own table or begging for a seat. And make no mistake, the economy does not care about your comfort zone. It rewards those who outgrow it. Now, if you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of people. Why? Because most will hear truth and flinch, but not you. You're still here, which means you're ready for rule number 5. Respect the seed. What's the seed? It's the first 10 you decide to invest. The first budget you stick to. The first debt you pay off when nobody's clapping for you. The seed is small but sacred. Because if you disrespect the beginning, you disqualify yourself from the harvest. Don't wait until you have a 6-figure income to get serious. That's not how wealth is built. Wealth starts in discipline when no one's watching. In saying no to the extra drink. In cooking your meals. In tracking your expenses. in choosing assets over ego. The millionaire is not made by one big break, they're made by 10. 0 small decisions that echo in eternity. Money doesn't show up for the lucky, it shows up for the ready. Rule number 6, automate what you honor. If you value wealth, systemize it. Automate your savings. Automate your investments. Automate your protection against your weaker self. Because motivation fades, emotion lies. But automation delivers. Your bank account should reflect your values before your emotions get the chance to interfere. Set it, forget it, and let it grow. Because the best time to build wealth is before you need it. When it's boring, when it's routine, that's when the real magic is happening. And finally, rule number 7, let your money serve a mission. Money without purpose is just paper, but money with a mission is power. Don't just build wealth to escape something. Build it to create something, to leave something, to become something. The richest man in the room is not the one with the most, but the one with the clearest reason why. Why are you doing this? What's the legacy? What's the fire behind the figures? When your money is aligned with meaning, it becomes unstoppable. Because now it's not just about you, it's about who you lift, who you inspire, who you protect, who you prove it to. Not out of spite, but out of purpose. So here you are. Not too young, not too old, just right, just ready, ready to rewrite the rules, ready to become the exception, ready to rise with a new codone, etched not in fantasy, but in discipline. One that doesn't just whisper about wealth, but demands it, cultivates it, honors it. You don't get rich by wishing. You get rich by working the laws until they work for you. By speaking in actions louder than your doubts. By planting seeds, not excuses. This is not just a call to get rich. This is a call to grow rich. From the inside out. At any age. Every generation inherits 2 things. The world as it is, and the responsibility to rise beyond it. You were not born to repeat the poverty of thought that came before you. You were born to challenge it. To break the silence of scarcity with the roar of purpose. To take the wheel of your financial destiny and steer it with ruthless clarity. Because the truth no one tells you is this. Poverty is not just the absence of money. It is the absence of vision, the absence of intention. And too many are drifting through life like ships without sails, wondering why the storm keeps winning. But not you. Not anymore. Your hands, right now, have the potential to build empires. Your mind, if sharpened with truth and conviction, can become the most profitable asset you'll ever own. But only if you take full responsibility, full ownership. No more waiting for the perfect economy, the perfect partner, the perfect timing. There is no perfect timing. There is only this moment and what you do with it. Because money doesn't flow to the timid. It flows to those who are willing to speak the language of wealth, not with words, but with actions. So let's go deeper. Let's crack open the mindset of someone who doesn't just want to be rich, but who is becoming rich. There is a difference. Wanting is passive. Becoming is active. Becoming is daily. Becoming is a practice. And that practice begins in your mind. Start here. Believe you deserve it. Not because you're entitled, but because you're willing to become the kind of person who earns it. There's a world of difference between I want $1 million and I'm becoming the kind of person who generates $1 million of value. The first is fantasy. The second is foundation. And it's built brick by brick with habits, decisions, and identity. You attract what you are. So become wealth. Think like wealth, move like wealth, speak like someone who knows their value, isn't up for debate. Because once you raise your internal standards, your external results will rise to meet them. And this is where most people fail. They try to skip this part. They try to build wealth on a shaky identity, on self-doubt, on desperation. And like a house without a foundation, it all crumbles at the first sign of challenge. But not you. You're building deeper, stronger, wiser. You see, money is a tool, a force amplifier. It makes you more of who you already are. So if you are generous, money will multiply your generosity. If you are disciplined, money will accelerate your freedom. But if you are lost, scared, or reckless, money will only magnify the chaos. That's why clarity of self must come before clarity of strategy. So now we come to the silent killer of wealth comparison. Comparison is the thief not just of joy, but of focus. You cannot run your race looking sideways. You cannot grow your fortune measuring it against someone else's highlight reel. Get out of the algorithm and back into alignment. Your journey is sacred, your timing is divine, and your path will never look like theirs, because it was never meant to. Do not compete, create. Do not chase, cultivate. You don't need more likes, more followers, more validation. You need more discipline, more depth, more conviction behind your yes and power behind your no. And while we're here, let's speak to time. Because time is money, yes, but it's more than that. Time is leverage. You don't get rich trading time for money forever. That's survival. To thrive, to expand, to truly build wealth, you must learn to detach your income from your hours. How? Assets, systems, ownership. Start small, but start smart. A digital product, a dividend stock, a revenue sharing agreement, a skill you own, not just rent out by the hour. You must stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a builder. The rich don't work harder, they work wiser. They understand that time is the most precious currency, and the goal is not to be busy forever, it's to be free, not lazy, not idle, but free to choose what matters, when it matters, without asking for permission. That's the real wealth. Not just the number in the bank, but the control over your calendar. The ability to buy back your hours and pour them into your mission, your family, your legacy. And speaking of legacy, let me be clear. Getting rich is not selfish. Staying broke is. Because when you're broke, you can't help. You can't fund the dream. You can't support the mission. You can't show up for the people who need you. You're too busy surviving. But when you're rich, when you've built it the right way, you can become a force for good that echoes for generations. You can open doors your ancestors only dreamed of. You can pay for wisdom, not just wishes. You can give without anxiety, invest without fear, build without limits. And that's why you can't afford to stay small. The world doesn't need more broke dreamers. It needs rich warriors, those who earn with integrity, give with passion, and live with power. You are becoming that. Right now. Not someday. Not when the stars align. But here, in every thought you think, every cent you save, every decision you make, when no one is watching. Because that's the ultimate truth. Wealth is who you are when no one's clapping, when you're tired, when you're doubting, when the rewards haven't shown up yet, but the seed is still in the ground. Keep watering, keep believing, keep showing up like the future depends on it, because it does. And remember, no matter your age, your background, your current balance, it is never too early or too late to become wealthy. It is only ever too late to begin. You must understand, the world is built by those who begin, not by those who wait, not by those who complain, but by those who move, while others are still making excuses. Let this next truth pierce through every layer of hesitation. Your bank account is not a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of your patterns. And patterns can be changed, rewritten, rewired, but only by those bold enough to confront them. Look around. Look closely. Most people live in loops. Spend, regret, repeat, earn, escape, consume. They chase the weekend like it's freedom, when it's really a leash disguised as leisure. They drown their potential in distractions and call it normal. But normal is broke. Normal is blind. Normal is borrowed dreams and rented peace. You are not here to be normal. You are here to build a life that cannot be repossessed, a mind that cannot be manipulated, a future that does not beg, borrow, or shrink to fit anyone's expectations. So listen carefully. You must become financially unshakable long before you become financially comfortable. You must build internal wealth before the external wealth arrives. Because money will not fix what you've ignored. It will expose it, magnify it. And if you are not ready, it will bury you beneath the weight of what you weren't prepared to carry. So you prepare now, with vision, with discipline, with refusal to waste another day, doubting your ability to build. Now, I want you to imagine a version of you 10 years from now. Wealthy, free, focused, not flashy, not fake, but firm, calm, secure. Imagine that version of you looking back on today. Would they thank you, or would they be paying for your hesitation? That vision of you's not a fantasy. It's a result, a product of seeds planted in quiet mornings like this one, decisions made in silence, habits chosen with ruthless love. Because wealth, real wealth, is not a lottery. It is a result, a reflection of your financial philosophy lived out loud every single day. So write this into your soul. You don't work for money. You work for freedom. Money is the tool. Freedom is the goal. Freedom to say no. Freedom to walk away. Freedom to fund a mission without fundraising your dignity. But here's the paradox. To earn that freedom, you must first embrace responsibility like never before. Responsibility for your spending, your earning, your energy, your standards. Because when you take full ownership, life bends. Opportunities appear. Momentum builds. But when you blame, you bleed. Time, energy, dignity. Everything that could have been building your future leaks into the ground of victimhood. Never forget, wealth is attracted to responsibility. It flows toward those who manage what they have as if it's already more, because they know how you treat the little is how you'll treat the lot. You want more money? Start by respecting every dollar already in your care. Track it, direct it, multiply it. Don't just count it, command it. Make your money obey your vision. And if you don't have a vision, that's the first investment you need to make. Not in stocks, not in crypto, not in get-rich-quick schemes, but in clarity. What are you building? For whom? Why does it matter? Because money follows meaning, and meaning is not found scrolling your feed. It's found in stillness, in asking better questions, in silence, where your truest values rise to the surface. You want to get rich? Then stop asking, what can I buy? And start asking, what am I becoming? Because who you become will determine what you sustain. You can stumble into wealth, but if your character can't carry it, it will vanish faster than it came. So while others are chasing hacks, you are building roots. While others want quick wins, you are planting oak trees. While others seek clout, you are constructing legacy. And that legacy will not be built with comfort, it will be built with courage. Courage to say no to impulse. Courage to delay pleasure. Courage to live on less today so you can live on more tomorrow. Courage to stop pretending you're fine financially when you know you were made for more. This is the new standard. This is the new normal. Wealth not as vanity, but as victory. Not as escape, but as expression. Not as flaunting, but as freedom lived and given. And you are the architect. So pick up your tools, your thoughts, your choices, your habits, and start building the life your future self won't have to recover from. Because every second you wait, you are planting something, either regret or results. And 10 years from now, you will wake up in one of those two gardens. Choose wisely. Because rich is not just a status. It is a standard, a rhythm, a result. And it begins with you, right here, right now. No more hiding behind excuses. No more worshiping limitations disguised as realism. The world has enough people explaining why they can't. It needs more people proving that they can. Because the person who gets rich is not always the one with the best degree, the fanciest title, or the best timing. It's the one who refuses to stay poor in thought. The one who says, if wealth is a skill, then I'll learn it. If wealth is a mindset, then I'll build it. If wealth is a war, then I'll win it. And yes, it is a war, but not the kind you think. Not a war against other people. A war against old programming. A war against the version of you that's too afraid to dream big because you've been burned before. A war against the voices that said, people like us don't get rich. You do not inherit poverty. You inherit thinking. And you, right now, are breaking that chain. Because somewhere deep down, you've always known. There's something different about you. Something that won't settle. Something that won't let you stay stuck. That fire in your belly, that hunger to rise, that's your real birthright. So feed it, nurture it, protect it. Don't water it down with small talk and smaller goals. Don't apologize for it. Don't ask permission to act on it. You do not need permission to prosper. You need principles and the courage to follow them, especially when it's hard, especially when it's lonely, especially when no one else believes yet. Because money doesn't move toward need. It moves toward responsibility. And responsibility demands preparation, which means you must get ready before the opportunity arrives. Sharpen your skills before someone asks what you can do. Fix your mindset before the pressure comes. Set up your systems before the income floods in. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. And this season you're in, is sacred, not because it's easy, but because it's honest. You are face to face with the truth. If you want wealth, if you want abundance, if you want a life that feels as rich as your bank account will one day be, then you must go deeper. You must go beyond tactics, beyond shortcuts. You must become the kind of person wealth trusts. And wealth doesn't trust the scattered. It trusts the focused. It doesn't trust the impulsive. It trusts the intentional. It doesn't trust the greedy. It trusts the grateful. Because money, like people, responds to how you treat it. Ignore it, and it ignores you. Disrespect it, and it leaves you. Steward it, and it multiplies. So stop trying to impress the world with what you wear. Impress your future with what you save. Impress your mission with what you build. Impress your future children with what you leave behind. Your value is not in what you consume, it's in what you create. And wealth is the byproduct of becoming a powerful creator. Creating systems, creating solutions, creating impact, creating calm in your finances where chaos once ruled. This is the new you. Not just richer but wiser. Not just chasing income but building influence. Not just learning how to make more but how to keep more, grow more, and become more. And maybe they won't see it yet. Maybe your family doesn't understand. Maybe your friends still laugh. Maybe the people around you are stuck in the loop you're breaking out of. That's fine. Let your results speak. Let your discipline do the talking. Because one day, those who doubted you will come asking how you did it. And you'll smile, and not out of spite, but because you'll know the price you paid, the nights you stayed focused, the comforts you traded for convictions, the small invisible decisions that no one clapped for, but that built your empire brick by brick. And when they ask, you'll tell them the truth. I got rich the hard way, the real way. I took control. I changed my mindset. I learned the rules. I honored the seed. I built it one choice at a time. That is your future. Not a dream, not a fantasy. A certainty if you keep planting, keep preparing, and never let the world talk you out of your power. So rise. Not someday. Now. There is no someday on the calendar. There is only now, and what you choose to do with it. Every second is an investment. The question is, are you compounding growth or compounding regret? And most don't realize it until it's too late, until the energy fades, until the time is gone, until the fire that once burned in them has been replaced by the ashes of excuses. But not you, because if you're still listening, you're still becoming. You haven't given up on yourself, and that's all the proof you need. Because wealth doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for persistence. Not flawless action, but faithful action. It's okay if you messed up. It's okay if you started late. It's okay if you feel behind. All that matters is that you don't stop. Because the seed only grows if you keep watering it. Even when you don't see the fruit yet. Even when the soil looks barren. Even when doubt creeps in and whispers, is it even working? Yes, it is. You just haven't harvested yet. Because success doesn't show up all at once. It builds quietly, slowly, silently, until one day it erupts loud, undeniable, and irreversible. Like a tree that stood still for years, then suddenly bears fruit for generations. So let this be your reminder. Wealth is not a finish line, it's a rhythm. And when you master the rhythm, money becomes momentum. It starts as a struggle, then it becomes a habit, then a lifestyle, then a legacy. That's how it moves from effort to ease, from discipline to freedom, from grit to grace. But only for those who stay in the game. And that game, it's not fair, it's not equal. It doesn't care about your feelings. But it can be won if you master yourself. So here's the uncomfortable truth you must face. You are either being trained by your excuses or transformed by your standards. Every time you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, your poverty mindset wins. Every time you justify that impulse purchase, your legacy takes a loss. Every time you delay your discipline, you delay your destiny. But every time you say no to the short term in service of the long term, you build equity in your future. You earn your way into the version of you who is already waiting, already wealthy, already walking in power. And if you listen closely, you can hear them calling. That version of you, the one who owns the land, not just rents it, the one who gives with joy, not guilt, the one who moves through the world with quiet power, because they're no longer begging life to bless them, they've become the blessing. That version of you isn't far. It's not a fantasy. It's a decision. A decision to think differently, speak differently, move differently, to walk into every room like your future is listening, because it is. It's watching every choice, every risk, every sacrifice, every moment you decide to act like a rich person before the riches arrive. Not in arrogance, but in alignment. Because being rich isn't just about what's in your account, it's about what's in your character. It's how you respond to pressure, how you handle failure, how you rise when no one sees it but you. That's what money respects. Not just ambition, but endurance. Not just desire, but discipline. Not just knowledge, but execution. You want to be rich? Then study the lives of the rich not for their luxury, but for their loyalty to the invisible process. The meetings they took when they were tired. The deals they negotiated when no one believed in them. The late nights, the early mornings, the awkward conversations, the 100 rejections before the one yes. This is the reality behind every fortune that looks like a miracle. Sweat, strategy, relentless standards. And if you can match that energy, if you can rise to that frequency, then nothing can stop you. Not your past, not your pain, not even your current balance. Because the person who refuses to be outworked, outlearned, or outfocused will never stay broke for long. So what now? Now you move. Now you rise. Now you build. Not for applause, not for revenge, not to prove your worth, but because you finally know it. You finally understand. The richest life is not something you find. It's something you forge. And you're already holding the hammer. So take the hammer. Grip it with everything you've got. Lift it with conviction. And strike the anvil of your future again and again until the sparks become flames and the flames become fire and the fire becomes forge. You are not here to survive. You are here to shape. Shape your days like a sculptor chisels marble. Shape your hours like an architect sketches vision. Shape your thoughts like a composer scores a symphony note, every pause, every measure of intention building toward crescendo. And hear this clearly. Rich is not the goal, it's the byproduct. The byproduct of alignment, of devotion, of unshakable self-respect. Because when you live at the level of your highest truth, the universe will move heaven and earth to match your energy. So, stop chasing money. Start embodying wealth. Walk into rooms like you belong, not because you're arrogant, but because you've done the work. Speak with precision, not because you want to impress, but because you've earned the clarity. Build with urgency, not because you fear running out of time, but because you honor the time you have left. And give not from scarcity, but from overflow. Because you are becoming the source. You are becoming the well. You are becoming the one they'll speak about when they say, he changed everything. She rewrote the story. They broke the cycle. Let that be your legacy. Not just riches, but revolution. Not just comfort, but contribution. Not just status, but standard raised, lived, and passed on. And when your days draw to a close, and your time has been spent, and the final chapter of your life has been written in full, may it read like this. They started from nothing, but they didn't stay there. They became everything they were meant to become, and they left this world richer than they found it. That is your birthright. That is your power. That is your responsibility. Now go make it real.